Good morning, good afternoon, and good day, depending on where you're at in the world when you're watching this video. Hey everybody, Doug Pedersen here. Welcome to week 16. Yes, video 16 in my 52-week series of me upholding my commitment to post something of value here on my Facebook page every week. Doing it a little bit earlier this week, thanks to the scheduling power of Facebook. I can record these things whenever I want and post them at the appropriate time. So I'm coming to you a little bit earlier this week. All right, today we're gonna address the topic, or really the question of, I'm bright, why am I still unhealthy? That's the headline today. I'm bright, why am I still unhealthy? And so today's a transitional video, because we've been talking about self-care, and within that, the physical domain, right? Remember, there's 4 domains of self-care within the modern self-care model. And we've been talking about like nutrition and exercise and energy and things like that. And so we're going to start transitioning now here in the next month or two. We're going to be talking about this thing here, right? This thing here, the thoughts, the mental body, the mental domain of self-care, and really exploring what we can do there to help with our health, help with our self-care, so that we can really feel our best, so that we can really do our best and contribute our best. Okay, so this is a transitional video, and I think that this is a great opportunity to ask ourselves and really be honest with that question, or with the statement of, hey, if I'm bright, why am I still unhealthy? Why do I still not feel as good as I should? All right, so for me, I remember these moments vividly. I remember feeling that way. I remember thinking that way when I was 12, 13, 14, 15, and so on. And for those of you that know me or have been following my story, you remember I lost over 100 pounds when I was 18 by eating 1 can of tuna a day for 6 months. All right, crazy story, I know. But, what came before that period was just many years of paralysis, right? Many years of feeling not empowered, right? And not feeling like I had any control over my health. And consequently, it spiraled into a lot of negative thinking, okay? So let's address that. Let's address that, because some of you might be in the same place. Maybe not with your weight, but maybe within other areas of your health. You're just not feeling as good as you should, okay? So I know for me, to address that point, if I'm bright, why am I still unhealthy? There are 2 main drivers, 2 main reasons why, that dichotomy, that incongruency existed. And the first one was just my youth, and it was just not being aware, not having the knowledge, not knowing anything about nutrition or health or meditation or any of the things that we've been talking about, right? There was no internet, there were no coaching, books on this stuff was not widely available. And so I just didn't have the knowledge, I just did not have the awareness. So that's nobody here, okay? Nobody watching this video. Or if you've got the internet in 2019, none of us can claim ignorance anymore. We know more now than we ever have. I've got a 7-year-old son, Andrew. I've mentioned him before, love him. Bright kid. He's got voice recognition figured out on his iPad so quickly. He knows things that it took me years. The kids today know what teenagers knew 10 years ago. It's amazing how much information is out there, what we can process and assimilate at a young age. So no one watching this video is in that category. We all know what we should be doing, right? If we don't know, we can easily find it. We can easily find it on the internet or with other people or through books or coaching or whatever. There's a big conversation out there about self-care, okay? So that's not anything that I need to talk about. We've been raising awareness with every video that we've been doing here in the last 4 months, really. Can you believe that? 4 months, guys. So the second point, and the real driver, I think, for people people that I know, or people that may be following me, it has to do with the P word, all right? And the P word I'm talking about is procrastination. We know what we should be doing, and maybe we've demonstrated behavior of doing the right thing sometimes, but in the end, we fall back into our habits or fall back into a thought pattern that puts us into a state of procrastination. And I am the biggest offender. Once I got to a certain age, I no longer could claim youth. When I was 16, 17, gone through high school health classes, I knew that my eating was not healthy. I knew that what I was eating was causing my weight and weight gain, but I just didn't do anything about it. I felt paralyzed. I procrastinated. And so let's deal with that. How do we end procrastination, especially with our self-care, because time is of the essence. It's about doing good. In order to do good, we need to feel good. Like, global citizenship is a big topic, a big idea in the world right now. I teach a weekly or a monthly course about global citizenship in our business. And so if we're going to maximize our contribution, if we're going to respect and recognize and contribute to other people in this world as global citizens, we need to feel our best so that we can do our best. Okay, so we need to end procrastination now, especially with our own self-care, because we need to be strong. We need to be ready, and we need to be ready to serve with our talents, with our gifts that we've been given, so that we can contribute to others around us, right? If you're watching me, I know you feel that. I know that's in your heart, because we probably share that same feeling. All right, so how do we end procrastination with our self-care? We know what to do, we're just not doing it. Well, let's examine a couple reasons why, or what are the benefits to procrastination. Why would we be hanging on to such a debilitating characteristic? All right. Now, if you're familiar with Dr. Wayne Dyer or any of his books, he's passed away now, but he had written a lot of books in the last 20 or 30 years. His most famous was his first book, I think. It's called The Erroneous Zones. It was published in the 70s and it sold 35 million copies. And he has a whole chapter dedicated to procrastination. And one of the things that he says about procrastination is that life is made up of critics and doers. And a lot of times, doers are too busy to criticize because they're busy doing whatever activity or basically living life according to what it is that they feel in their hearts or what it is that they're directed to do. But many people like to sit back and criticize, and it's mainly because they're the non-doers. And really what he's saying is that this is a whole category of these people that are critics usually end up being the ones who procrastinate. And so when I read this, I think it's fair for us to say, where are we critical of the knowledge that we know, right? If someone's making a good recommendation on the timing of your food so you can have better digestion, or the types of foods that you should be eating so that you can have better nutritional value and higher long-term energy within your body, or making a recommendation on how you can advance your calmness and peace within you through meditation, or how you can find the same kinds of things, peace, through your exploration of faith and grace, right? Or how you can improve just, physical health by drinking water and getting rest. The things that we know we can do. If you're criticizing those people, if you're critical of them and saying, no, that isn't it, or you're skeptical of organic eating or anything like that, you really need to check yourself and say, am I criticizing because I'm procrastinating? Because I really just don't want to go down that road, for other reasons? If you're critical of any of that stuff, anything in the self-care world, you need to look in the mirror and really examine what's true. Okay, he goes on to say, there's a whole bunch of lists there, what the payoffs are. But I think that it's beneficial to look at what the payoffs are to procrastination. And some of the biggest ones are, it takes away the potential to fail. When we procrastinate and we don't put ourselves out there, then we're actually protecting ourselves from failure, or protecting ourselves from maybe the uncomfortable activity of exercise, or of whatever, of change. And so even though it's not good for us, we'll withhold that stuff because we're afraid of failure, we're afraid of the risk, or we're afraid of the change, and it's easier just to hang on to what it is that we know, even though we're not happy or feeling our best, right? Isn't that weird how that works out? Okay, another benefit is, honestly, that when we procrastinate, we can also blame the world. We can blame others. And I did this as well when I was younger. It's easier to look outward and say that there's other things that are causing me to not feel good, right? We may choose to believe that we don't control our thoughts, or we can't control our emotions, or that there's something else, some pharmaceutical that I'm taking, or the food that I'm eating, or my lifestyle, or my job, or whatever is causing the stress, or is causing the pain, or the lack of rest or whatever the case is. And so it's easier to look internal because then we don't have to take personal accountability. We don't have to look in the mirror and really admit that, hey, I'm a non-doer, and that's why I feel this way, right? So, it's not a message that's kind to say, but it's the truth. And I love you people so much that I really encourage you to get honest with yourself, because once you do, you can take control and you can start moving in the direction that you want. And that's really putting goodness in the bank and feeling that, more and more each day until it's every day, all day, because life is definitely worth living at the highest level. Okay, so what are a couple of ways to end procrastination? First and foremost, the strongest one is just willpower. It's just deciding to do it. And a lot of people can't jump right into the deep end like I did with my weight issue by just going cold turkey on tuna and doing major portion control. But what you can do is something we've talked about before. It's called tapering. And I'll talk about it a little bit differently right now. So instead of just jumping in the deep end and taking a big, massive change and trying to uproot everything at once, do things in small bits. So if you have a goal to get more sleep, or you have a goal to start meditating, or you have a goal to start exercising, or whatever, whatever it is that will make you feel good, set aside some time in a small amount and do it. Say, I'm going to do this for 5 minutes, or I'm going to do this for 2 minutes, or I'm just going to begin and do the initial steps of it. I'm going to get a workout plan. I'm going to pack my gym bag and go tomorrow and just go to the gym, get inside the gym, just begin. And use the little victory strategy. Okay, celebrate the little victories. Make a process. Step 1, step 2, step 3, very easy, so that you just have to focus on step 1, just beginning, and then celebrate it when you do it. Small increments, little victories will get you through, okay? The other way to do this, which I think is very powerful, is to link your reason of doing this thing that's good for you, whatever the self-care practice is, to something outside of yourself, okay? A lot of times we're procrastinating because we're, honestly, we're being a little selfish, and we need to get outside of our heads, outside of our thoughts, and see the bigger picture and expand our reasoning for what we're doing to something that will serve someone or something else, the greater good. So here's an example. You might want to get into better health because you'll be a better parent. I know this was one of my goals when Andrew was born. I rededicated myself to my health because when he was born, I was 37 years old, and I started doing the math, and I didn't want to be one of those dads that was, broken down, couldn't play with him, had bad knees and a bad back and everything else, and so I rededicated myself to really healthy living so that I could be a better parent to him, and then his sister Alina that came along a couple years later. And so having my kids as a motivation to be healthy so that I could be around for them as they grow up and play with them was a very strong motivator. When I don't feel like it, I remember why I'm committed to what it is that I'm committed to. All right. Here was a couple other ways you can do that. If you don't have kids, or your kids are not your motivator, maybe it's the greater good. Maybe you want to be healthier so that you don't have to go to the doctor or use your insurance as much or get prescriptions and be a drain on the healthcare system. Maybe that's it. Maybe you want to improve your relationship with your spouse. And so getting in better health and feeling better will allow you to show up to your relationship in a more authentic way. All right. So see what I'm saying? Focus on someone else, on another group outside of yourself that's very important to you, and use that as a motivator. Start contributing beyond just yourself, and great things are going to happen. I mean, not just in your health, but just in all aspects of your life. When you start focusing on others, goodness will flow. All right? Okay, guys, a little bit longer today. I wanted to do 15 minutes. We're at 14 now. I hope this makes sense. All right? In short, be a doer. Don't be a critic. End procrastination. And stop asking the question, if I'm bright, why am I unhealthy? Just get healthy. Goodness is in me, just like it's in you. You deserve it, so go after it with all you got. All right, guys, have a great week. It's been video 16. It's good seeing you. Bye for now.